So, welcome everybody to Talking Solutions 1.0. We'll be talking about health today with Ritu Parna. And yes, thank you, Ritu, for joining us today. Let's begin with our discussions. So, Ritu, please introduce yourself about what you do.
All right. So I'm a holistic health coach and I practice the laws of natural hygiene. I'm also trained in functional medicine, which delves deeper into root cause analysis over just symptomatic treatment. And I'm also trained in nutrigenomics, which is the science of understanding health based on genetic analysis. All right. But my primary work is based on natural laws and to understand the design of our body and mind as nature has made it, as nature's intelligence has preserved it, protected it, and the way it is designed for us to grow fascinates me every single day. That is why I do the work that I do. I personally had a life changing moment in 2015, 2016, when, with the guidance of my mentors, I could go medicine free after 20 years of being on medication on a daily basis. I had an ovarian issue, which led me to a radiologist and a gynecologist when I was 16 years old, even before my 10th board exams. And since then, the major part of my life has been spent visiting doctors' clinics. So everything else has been done alongside visiting the doctor's clinic. This was like a fixed time slot, almost every month, few days of the month, sometimes more intensive. And it was majorly allopathy, but to some extent homeopathy and Ayurveda too. I realized that they all help in alleviating the symptoms for some time, but the body's design is far more superior. And therefore, until the root cause is analyzed and corrected, and the very reason why the problem is showing up is dealt with, all of this is temporary. My primary objection to this methodology, everything from allopathy to Ayurveda to anything else that required an intervention for my body to perform a function. My question was, why doesn't it work? When it works for everybody else, why doesn't it work for me? And this idea of, oh, 1 in 3 women have it, you'll be fine if you just go on taking medicines, it's not such big a problem, you don't even have any pain or anything like that. That used to make me feel faulty. As it is, there are enough and more reasons in this world which makes us feel I'm not good enough, and this was a big one. I could like feel it in my bones all the time. And because we are schooled in the medical model, as I call it, where we are taught to see a symptom as a problem, a health condition as something that has gone wrong with you, something is broken about you, something needs to be fixed, something needs to be, we feel afraid that the symptom might go worse or it needs to be arrested. So we take, uh, scans and tests and medicines very, very seriously. There's nothing wrong about it. But the place I'm coming from is there's something deeper than that, right? So that was my quest. I had no clue how this is going to be possible in this lifetime. Yet, as they say, that your true subconscious quests, the universe finds a way to get through you.
Manifest it and get it in the reality.
Right.
That's so true.
So I didn't even know the word manifestation back then, even though I'm very verbose in nature, you'll find out soon. But the point is, step by step, I was led to my mentors, whom I'm very, very grateful for. And thereafter, even when my symptoms turned around, I went medicine free. My quest wasn't over. I kept on experimenting with myself. I kept on violating all the principles I learned. I kept on experimenting with my children, with my family, with my staff, with my, I would say, exploration, experimentation, maybe sounding a little daunting, with my friends. And practice and repeated exposure to the brain changes belief systems completely. I am a living example of that. And then I thought that it can't just be so intuitively wonderful. There has to be some more art and science to this. So I then trained myself in the science to ensure that people really believe in it for what it is and not just saying that, oh, she believes in it. It worked for her, may not work for me. If nature has designed us, if we are all breathing, then it got to work for us. Right? So that's where I am. Sorry for a very long introduction. Manvi, if I may request you, can I see myself as well along with, yeah, I think this is better. I changed. All right.
Yeah, you
Thank
can just change the view to the gallery view, and that
Yes,
would
yes,
work.
yes.
Okay. All right. So, thank you for the introduction. And yes, it's lovely to know that so many, this exploration, taking the route of exploration is, I think, what leads you to learning something more holistically true that's working for your body and not just something that you're just following blindly. So that's lovely to know that you explored, and that's why here you are, sharing your expertise with us. Okay, so let's get to the crux of the problem. Like, what is the issue? What is the underlying issue that people are ignoring these days, for their health?
Okay. So I would say that we are all uh, a victim of the system, including the medical professionals themselves. Why do I say so? If we are trained and programmed to believe that any symptom that our body shows is a threat to us, then what do we do to a threat? Our primitive brain is trained for fight, flight, and freeze response. See a tiger, run away. See a fire, remove your hand. We're not thinking. We don't have any differences in belief systems because of that. Which means if something is working on autopilot, like do we have any debate on the blood circulating through our blood vessels? Do we have any debate on that the fact that we are breathing? Which means that if there is a difference in belief system on some of these things, only then we can be different, right? Or rather, if these things were different for everyone, then there's a question of, oh, why this works for you and why this doesn't work for him, and all of our bodies are different and all of that. All of our bodies are different, but they are all made of cells, and all cells in this universe have the same function. And they need a certain time, material, energy, and space, like in any scientific formula of any function in the world. There is an element of time, material, energy, and space. If these things are met, our body is bound to be at its autonomous best on autopilot, just like breath. We are not meant to hang around with oxygen masks. Similarly, we are not designed to be on blood pressure pills. We are not designed to be on pills that regulate our blood sugar. We are not designed to be on pills that regulate our hormones. And we are not, none of us are born like that. Some of us may have congenital issues that has a very different approach. But even then, there are people who's, like I've seen people who are paraplegic, their whole body is functional, but they're cognitively functional, which means what is really driving us is our programming, is our belief system. And where does that come from? I call this the medical model of living. I'm not just referring to medical professionals or doctors here. I'm referring to the medical model of living. And what is the living model? That anything that goes wrong is a war against you. Whereas the truth is that the relationship with our body is more fundamental than the relationship with our parents, with our spouse, with our children, with anybody else. This is the only material aspect of our lives that we are living inside from the first breath to the last. When a baby is born, they don't suckle milk from the mother because they love the mother. The baby suckles for survival. So when our survival instinct, if the baby is, by the time they assume cognitive function, if they are taught that suckling milk is a wrong thing to do, will they ever do that? No. So we are taught that when there is high fever, we got to panic. When we are having loose motions, we'll go into some kind of a emergency. In extreme cases, I'm not denying the possibility. But how much is extreme? That calibration is very internal. It is not by the thermometer. It's not by the number of times we run to the loo. It's not by the number of times we have cough. Or it's not by the, if we have so much mucus and pneumonia-like symptoms where we are having short of breath, of course we got to run because we need oxygen. That emergency needs to be tided over. But first, the mucus has to be cleared for us to breathe, which means that this fear that drives us doesn't allow us to think in favor of our body. The first natural law is law of self-preservation, which means everything that the cell is doing is in our favor. The symptom is just an alert. It's just a signal. Hey, I need something. Please give me some attention. Like an urgent phone call. So we are not taught what does that call mean? How do we listen to our bodies and give it what it needs? Instead of trying to say, you shut up. You have no business to get me fever. You have no business to give me diarrhea. I have an important meeting tomorrow. I have an important exam tomorrow. So what are we doing? The very living, vibrant system we live under, which is designed to give us periodic checks when something goes off balance, we have been not taught what is that bile balance and how do we address it. The second important thing is, in theory, all right from Sushruta Charak to every medical philosopher or health related philosopher all through times will tell us that the body is a self-healing organism. It has a self-healing mechanism, which means when we cut ourselves, it heals on its own. If we break a bone, it joins on its own. Then what happens when we get diabetes? That function doesn't magically disappear. What happens when we have a thyroid issue? What happens when we have PCOS? What happens when we have a kidney function disorder? What happens when we have fatty liver? We never lose that capacity, but we are taught not to deal with that capacity or not to enhance that capacity, not to listen in and not to learn how to balance. It's a whole art and science which we have been living away from for a very, very long time. And if you see, in the last 100 years of humankind, human history, the number of ailments and the nature of ailments have become far more complex. Which means, is this system of living in fear, of not believing in the bodies we live in, of not learning how to balance what is needed, of not learning how to keep our self-healing mechanism alive, is this serving us? And so many of us are silently suffering because from birth till death, we don't even hear about it. So we don't even know we can access something. Only few of us who have a quest go looking after it, but we have other businesses in life. We can't go looking after, like, it can't be a... Thinking on something. Yes, you can put yourself on, yeah, thank you. All right. So we'll take questions from everyone in the end. So I hope that gave some context on
Yes, I
why
think
does
it's the
this, yeah.
Yes, so like you rightly said, the ignorance that we have, like we are continuously dependent on medicines. Not in the case of emergencies. In emergencies, we definitely require that medical assistance. But overall in your life, holistically, the constant dependability for chronic ailments is the issue here. So yes, that was very rightly said. And what do you like? What's the solution to this? What is the solution to this? Which is like imagine a person who is very used to taking chronic ailments for their symptoms. They are very trained to do that. What is the first step? What is the first introductory solution, I would say, more than, see, there are levels to it. Level 1 is the awareness. Level 2 is the step 1. And then you get into step 3, step 4, and then you get into the entire depth of it, and then it becomes a holistically harmonious lifestyle with health. So, what would you say is the step 1 solution to this issue?
Okay. So, firstly, ask yourself, do you really want something like this? Do you want to access your self-healing mechanism? Do you want to live a life that allows you to live full potential? Do you want to uh, gracefully land into old age where you don't have to say, oh, I'm old, that's why I'm sick? Do you want that life? If you want that life, get in touch with yourself and ask yourself, what is really keeping you trapped? What are your biggest issues today? And what would it take for you to get out of this trap? Okay. And then the third question to ask would be, what are your biggest fears around your health? Because whatever we do, irrespective of protocol, we do whatever we do because we want to save ourselves, because we want to protect ourselves. This is the job of our immune system. This is the job of our ego, spiritually speaking. This is how we have a sense of self and other, inner and outer. This is how we live, right? In the emotional health space, this is what they call by safe boundaries. So eventually, the model we are following, the life we are living, is in order to keep ourselves safe and protected from something. What is that something? Right? There are people I have worked with who just say that whatever you're saying after going through the full course of treatment with me, they say, I agree with everything, but I can't lose the love of my family. They will not allow me to do all this. This is the fear. Unfortunately, this is the fear, not the fear of them losing their abilities. They're okay to lose their abilities because the family will be there next to them. So the fear can be of different, it is not just a fear of losing your organ capacity or mobility or some such thing. The fears can be something larger. Fears can be of acceptance.
That's
I had to meet that head
fear,
front. Yeah, I had to
that is
meet
a
that up
profound
front.
fear. Yeah.
Because when I started doing all these explorations, people were like, are you mad? What are you doing at 104 fever without a paracetamol?
Right.
I
So
still wanted to.
how can you begin, like, with what kind of an ailment? Because if I have something severe, like you said, I would also resort to just calling a doctor and immediately taking a pill. So how can we start this journey? How can we start, like, with what kind of a simple ailment, like maybe a fever or a cough? Like, where do you start with and how do you do
Yes, yes, that's a good point. Good question. So, a good financial advisor will tell you the time to start managing your money is not when you need the money, not when you are in a crisis. The time to start saving and investing is when you are well earning.
Sorry.
Okay. So, which means if you have a healthy investment plan for over 5 years, 10 years, all market conditions, all turbulences are taken care of. You're still growing net, right? Same way, if we are invested in wellness, in all areas of your life, you'll see this. Even like when we talk about, we all know that it's a commitment, right? You keep growing when both people are invested in it. Similarly, if we take the relationship with our body and our health as an invested, and we choose to stay invested in wellness, then the journey begins today when you are hale and hearty. Okay. So the only three things that we have been given control of by nature, by universe, by divine, whatever you call it. All of us, I'm sure, whether we believe in God or not is irrespective, or we believe in nature or not is irrespective. Like some people tell me, I don't like nature. All right. But do you agree that your body has been made by some higher intelligence, not even by your mother and father? It has been made by some intelligence. Nobody was instructing in the womb, okay, go make the liver today. Oh, too early. No,
Yes.
first make the hands, then make the lungs. No, right? So there are functions within the body and outside of us, like it's raining. We do not have control over these. So let's call this things that are out of control and at a higher intelligence than the human intelligence. Okay. And this I'm saying with great humility, there is a higher intelligence. Okay. Now, so what's the solution then? Shall we feel helpless? Everything higher intelligence is doing, then what shall I do about my health? No, we can feel in control. There are some areas that the universe and nature has given us to feel in control, to feel certain, to regulate our inputs in a way that the higher intelligence can be on autopilot in its healthiest way. From the standpoint of the body, nothing is a dysfunction, not even cancer. Dysfunction is from our standpoint, from the sense of that I. From the standpoint of the body, the dysfunction is still an alert. You didn't listen to me, you didn't listen to me, give me this, give me this, give me. Okay, now I don't even have this. Now, like from a kitchen, you take away the grains, then you take away vegetables, then you take away the utensils, then you take away the gas, then you take away the chimney, then you take away. So slowly, a disease progresses. Okay. Now, looking at what are the things that is in our control, where we can feel powerful, safe, certain, is food, breath, thought, and the fourth thing is we are designed for movement. Simple movement, right? Which is why when you and I are speaking, gestures are coming naturally to us. We are designed for movement. I'm not telling my hands, okay, move like this right now, right? It's happening. Now, so food, breath, thought, and movement, I feel, are the four main pillars which we can regulate. And through these, we can enhance our exposure to other natural elements like sun, water, air, soil, right? Because they are also part of the composition. And therefore, and why are they important? Because everything, even an amoeba or a bacteria in this universe, were not created before sun, water, air, and soil. So human beings are at the highest level of the pyramid of the living ecosystem. And everything we ever needed to survive was already there. The universe didn't make us thinking, oh, let these guys cook only, then will they survive. Let these guys learn about medicines only, then will they survive. Let these guys learn about different things on what to eat, etc., then they'll survive. It launched us wherever and we became hunter-gatherers because firstly, we were gatherers. Fruit in the jungle was ready to eat. Fruits are sun-cooked. They are ripe. They come in different packages from sweet to semi-sweet to sour to semi-sour to juicy to pulpy with different textures, varieties, and flavors. Okay. And fruits are within our body most easily digested, assimilated, and absorbed. Nothing that is not absorbed in our gut gets used by our system when it comes to food. And fruits take the fastest. Most fruits are absorbed into our bloodstream within 40 to 45 minutes. That's the max. There are fruits which will get absorbed in 20 to 25, which is why when we eat fruit, we feel more hungry because our stomach is empty and the body can alert again, okay, give me more. But what do we take it as? Oh, we don't feel full with fruits. The indicator is to eat more fruits and not reject fruits. This is what I'm saying, that we've been trained wrongly. I'm just giving an example of this training because there's a very fundamental aspect here. I've seen some people who are left-handed by birth, but they can eat and write with their right hand. Why? Because they were not allowed to. Those two actions, they have been trained to do with their right hand. The rest, everything by default, they do with their left hand. Which means whatever we come at birth, if we are trained in a certain way, then we start behaving. We are all a function of our habits and beliefs and programming and actions. Our actions actually step here. So therefore, the first thing everyone can do as far as food is concerned is to increase fruit in their everyday meals. Okay. Now, a couple of things about fruits. Never mix fruits with anything else. Fruits are premium, fruits are king. Fruits need a whole different set of enzymes to digest. And when mixed with anything else that takes 20 hours longer, it stays as undigested food in the stomach, creating putrefaction. Basically, it will get spoiled. Okay, it will not get digested and absorbed properly. So never make a mango shake and a mango pudding and a mango custard. It hurts me to see all this. Precious mango comes 3 times a year. Just give it the full attention, man. It's like if you had a partner and you knew you could see him only once in a year, how would you meet between phone calls? No. Right? So, that. Secondly, fruits should not be mixed with, like, you can mix a mango banana, mango papaya kind of a thing. I mean, taste wise, of course, take your call, but different categories should not, like, you can't mix a mango and an orange and a mango and a watermelon. Like in these health cafes that these days come up, they make very strange combinations. If you look clearly,
Jugalbandis and Ganga, Jamuna.
Yeah, exactly. Banana and jamun, they are not healthy. You will see if you apply your intuition that the subcitric and citric, like a Mosambie and orange, go together. Like orange and maybe pomegranate to some extent go together, but orange and like watermelon and something else with a plum with whatever, all these things we should avoid. Like basically don't mix different categories of fruits. Okay. And the third is eat them solo without like don't eat them like a dessert after meal. If we are eating fruits after meal, then at least 2 to 3 hours you should feel empty in the stomach before you eat a fruit. And the best time to eat fruits is first thing in the morning. Okay. And if you start your day with there's a longer discussion on that on our elimination cycle and why in the morning. I think we'll run out of time if I go into those details. But it's first thing in the morning. Any form is okay. Juice, pulp, shake, anything is okay, but no mixing. And if you juice it or pulp it, then use a good quality blender so that you don't have to filter out the fiber. That's the point.
I think like it's a very deep topic to dive into.
Yes. So that's why I just, without food, there's no health discussion. And you asked for the solution. This is the easiest solution. Okay. And go for local and seasonal fruits. This is very important. No eating apples in April. Like it just doesn't make sense. People will say, how do you know? Ask a farmer, ask the vegetable vendor, they'll tell you. I have had vegetable vendors who give me stuff from under the thing because they say nobody else asks me all these things. Because I tell them give me only what has come from the nearest place, only what has come recently. Otherwise, don't take it. Okay? Because people ask for it. Right.
Yes.
So these are things about food. Breath, there are, of course, an immense amount of practices which impact our mind, which impact our nervous system, which impact our immune system, which impact our all systems, right? Movement, we already know. Even if we design I'm not even talking about exercise. That is, of course, will be higher up on the optimal range. Basic movement, if we can think, how many times are we getting up to pick up something? If we can design our homes in a way where you stretch to bring something and put something back, everything, we are doing a lot of things these days which is comfortable and convenient. But human brain and human being as such, even spiritually speaking, we are designed for growth. If you ask even spiritual teachers or even physiology teachers, everybody will tell you that we are designed for growth, which means growth happens only at the border of challenge and support. So everything doesn't have to be comfortable. We can crawl. Sometimes if we have the capacity, we should crawl from one room to another or hop a little or walk on our toes or do some funny movements like this, stretch our bones a bit, play with our children or dogs or, do these kinds of things or just try climbing the lowest tree at a park that you visit. There are various ways of exploring movement, but people will say, but I am 45 minutes into walking. Now that has also become, see, everything we are doing as a part of the training by the medical model. This doctor has told me this is good for health. I'm done with my 45 minutes today. And the rest whole day we are sitting. No movement, no cleaning. one of the fundamental reasons for all ill health is insufficient elimination, insufficient cleaning, insufficient detoxification. Our lymphatic system works only on movements, they don't have tubes. So the more you move every part of the body. I realized I wasn't moving my shoulders much. And there's so much strain. So I had to intentionally move. Like, otherwise it is like hurting. So many years I've not moved. So,
Let's do a
that's the
small
thing.
movement in this spirit. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Just
let's
for
do
those
this.
of you who don't know, Mansi is also a movement expert. Please attend her sessions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, movement is literally, like you said, cleaning of your body and cleaning of your health before adding nutrition into it. So yes, so you
The
recommend
more we learn about, yeah, sorry.
movement in our, like, the entire day, whatever we're
Yes,
doing.
yes. See, as we get more in touch with ourselves, we know it that something is feeling tight, something is feeling stiff. Like if I fix you at a position, even in what's it called, Sukhasan, straight, after a few hours, we'll feel like moving. Even though this is a good posture, we'll feel like moving, right? We can't say like this for 20 hours. Therefore, we should just tune in and check every hour. Which part of my body have I not moved? Like I realized I had got hurt somewhere in the knee. When I was bending, it was hurting. But I realized is that the only way to bend? Then I began to keep my knees straight without bending my knees. I started to move down from my hip. I realized that has a lot of resistance because I have not used that much. Every time I bend, I'm bending my knees. So, which means it is also stretching my inner thigh calf muscles when I do that action. We do these exercises only when we have a fracture or a injury or when the physiotherapist suggests. These things are to be done on a daily basis, as intuitively as we feel. I'm not saying come back from a run and do your movement. If you feel tired, of course, rest is also a very important input, which in my whole health blueprint workshop I deal with in detail all these parameters. It's a 21-day audio program, if any of you are interested. So rest and sensory relaxation is also a very important input that helps us regulate what we consume, because we have to remember only what we can consume is what we can regulate. What we put into our mouth, what we put into our nose, what we put into our eyes, ears, the content we are consuming, the conversations we are having, the food that we are putting in, the air that we are putting in, the water that we are putting in, everything matters. And therefore, as we get in touch with all of these things, we'll always be guided towards what's wholesome. That's our design. We don't have to think about it. Everyone was not meant to become doctors and health coaches and nutritionists to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's true. So I think the step one is awareness,
This is a
right?
place for all of these professionals, which is why I am doing this work now, because we have lost touch with this so much that it now takes a separate program to bring everyone back into the rhythm. But it's possible to get there. That's the beauty and hope of this journey. I sincerely wish that no one has to ever say that, oh, I'm ailing, so my bones are hurting. Come on. We were not born designed that
So,
weak.
so Ritu, what is the ideal scenario of medicines and us? What is the ideal scenario?
See, ideal scenario is different for each individual, for each disease, for the stage of disease they are in, for what they want out of their lives. Okay. I've seen some of my loved ones go through cancer. So I'm just taking that extreme example. Even in cancer, and cancer hospital are the only hospital where they clearly state the consent of the patient is critical. I believe the consent of the patient is critical right at birth. You cannot be given formula when your birthright is to suck on breast milk. The consent of the patient is critical even when you have fever. Okay. There are people who will intuitively tell you that I don't want this medicine, right? Then the quest is to learn how to support your body, how to support your mind, go through that journey, and not just heal from the symptom, but free yourself from the like completely understand and resolve the root cause, right? So now if I believe that without medicines I'm just palpitating, there's a term in
Okay, I'm
medical
so sorry.
community. No worries. Are you okay, Manvi?
Yes, yes,
You
I'm
didn't
okay.
get hurt,
I'm so
right?
sorry for
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, please continue.
No worries. So there's a term in the medical community which is called placebo, which means, doctor, please give me something, I'm not feeling well. They'll give you some vitamin supplements or something, or some sweet talk to keep you okay, right? This is there to some extent in all cases. Sometimes we take the medicine and feel okay. That doesn't mean the symptoms have disappeared or it's got fully cured, which is why in every medicine the doctor will typically ask you to come back in a few days, whether it's fever or diabetes or PCOS or whatever, right? Because they need to monitor, because the performance is the body is the boss. So as we get in tune with ourselves, we have to realize how to balance this, and not just realize there are tools and frameworks. Like I said, we have been unschooled and deprogrammed from the authentic model so much that now there is a separate training required. I will admit it is not everyone's cup of tea to do this by yourselves. You need a proper handholding, a proper mentor, a proper coach who will take you through this and bring you in back in tune with your own body and mind, right? So
How
if you are willing
important
to invest
is
in that
this?
journey, do invest in a journey with a proper coach. If not, then have a discussion with the doctor. How critical is this medicine? What will happen if I go off it from on 21 days? Typically, you will be told that your symptoms will worsen, you will experience this, you will experience that. If you are
Right.
bold enough, ask him, I want to do that and see what happens. I did that for myself. But you have to take a call based on the criticality. This is not something, at least for adults, this is not something someone else should be telling you. But for people who consult me, when I guide them through my 12-week, 24-week programs, I tell them at what stage it is okay to shelve off the medicine slowly.
Okay.
And then, of course, they consult a medical professional when the parameters are getting back to normal, when they're symptomatically feeling better. It is
Hmm.
possible.
So it
Because
is
over
possible.
drugging also causes a lot of symptoms that no one tells us about. It is written in the declaration, what's that called? There's a term in pharmacology which declares certain medicines have, like long-term medication for diabetes has a correlation on kidney. So as a preventive, they give you something for the kidney even before the problem has happened.
Right.
Okay. There are certain medications of the cardiovascular system which will have an impact. Like you will get insulin dysfunction. You'll get diabetic-like symptoms in some time. That is known. But they say which is the bigger risk. So they will play it out. So it is known because our body is the boss. Body is working on the food, body is working on the breath, body is working on the medicine, body is working on the supplement. Until we master this instrument, nothing is in our control. Medicines make it look like everything is controlled. Nothing is in our control.
Okay, so suppose we are in this idealistic scenario that we are not taking medicines and we have have a life. What would that life look like? What would a medicine regulated life look like? I wouldn't say medicine free because you're supposed to take it under certain circumstances. So if you've regulated this and now we are in this ideal scenario, what would that life look like? What are the benefits in that?
So, at any point, if you are on medicines, it is clear, even clinically speaking, that your body is not at 100% optimal. Okay? Which means if you don't have 100% health on your side, your body is not on your side, your mind is not on your side, you're not living a full life. So, regulation is a function of how strong is your urge to live a full life, to live a limitation free life, to have a life where you are unstoppable, where you can go out and chase your dreams, where you don't feel tomorrow morning I might get this, or oh, I don't want to go to an altitude because I'll feel this, or oh, if I eat this, something will happen. If I do that, something will happen. So, depending on how strong is that urge and what does it take for us to feel safe and well, that's the call. If we are bold enough, then there can be a sharper turnaround, and it's possible. Dr. Bruce Lipton's work is entirely about that, about the cellular belief. There was a point when he recently wrote that about he himself had tongue cancer and how he turned that around. The point being that, of course, there are physiological tools. I'm not saying this is entirely spiritual work. There are physiological tools, hands and leg tools. There are breathwork related tools. There are mind related tools. And then there are spirituality related tools. All of these are interconnected. I'm just splitting them up for the understanding of everyone. So there is no one way our life can look, because we are the most beautiful, wonderful, unique creations of this universe. We are not meant to feel and look alike. And therefore, how well do we want to feel? How safe do we feel now? How confident do we feel about ourselves? My biggest, I would say, uh, feeling confident, like the time when I felt very confident, was during the pandemic. The whole world was checking on each other, and deaths happening, and there's so much hue and cry. And I'm so cool about it. And I was very sure that maybe I'll still, if it's everywhere, then I'll also get it once, and that's fine. I know how to manage this. So I did tide over. My family was pretty safe, but I literally wanted to tell anyone that if anyone's ill and no one's taking you in the hospital, just bring them home. I'll take care of them. I was that confident. Where everyone was avoiding contact, I wanted to bring in more contact. As this lack of connection is making people more sick and more afraid. And of course, there are many physiological aspects, more masking, more sanitizers. They're completely subduing and suppressing the first layer of immunity that we have by human design. So the second COVID naturally was far stronger.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay, I
So the
think
point is how effectively, how much conviction do we have in our lives? That's the question to ask. And health is not separate from life, right? It's a question like how much money would Lucas feel by? If you ask a wealthy businessman, a Forbes 500 or whatever, Fortune 500 and some billionaire or something, they're still doing something more, right? Because we are designed to grow, serve, and feel value and render value and receive value. Are we able to do that? If we are able to do that, if you feel, I don't want anything more from life, I'm okay to die like this, whatever the doctor says, I'm doing. All right then. But be honest with yourself. Sadly,
yes,
this is a politically correct answer. This is not the true answer.
that's true.
So if
Yes.
you really want to do something more with your life, then please do. It's like how if you meet
I
women in
think,
their late
Ritu, we
and
have
50s.
very less
Yeah.
time remaining. I'm so sorry we have to
Yes.
cut you here.
Sure, sure.
So
Yes.
yes, I think the first bar to cross is the fear that we have of not living with the medicine. So we can do that as when we are healthy, like you rightly
Yeah.
said. So,
Yeah. My
so
assurance
yes,
to everyone is it's very much possible. I am no great guru or saint. If it worked for me, it can work for everyone because all our cells are the same. The only way we are different is in our belief systems. My version 1.0 had a different belief system. My version 2.0 had a different belief system. Belief, our understanding, and from there, when we take action, we move from what my mentors say, move from fear to faith, move from cure to care, and move from illness to wellness. And that's my mission too.
that's lovely. And yeah, I think we've got a positive review already from Kapitra in the chat. She says, Ritu, your 21-day workshop is an in-depth dive into everything we need to understand our body and mind. I'm so glad I took it. Okay, and I think then she had to leave. Yeah, best wishes to you. So yes, your 21-day workshop is really a in-depth dive, and I would also like to know more about it. Can you see the chat?
Yeah, I actually can
Yes.
see some questions too.
Yes. So we'll now go ahead with the
I
questions.
think
We
let's
have
go
a
on
10
the
minutes
over the
left.
questions. I can then share
Yes.
about my travel journey.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's do that. So yes, everybody who is present, we have question and answer round opened up. You can just, I think we'll start with the one in the chat. We have Sheila asking, Ritu, I am presently living medicines free. However, I'm on the road to obesity. I'm on intermittent fasting with millet based food too. What is the next move? Yes, Sheila, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hi, Sheila.
Hi.
Firstly, thank you for putting yourself out there and asking an honest question. That's the first step to recovery. So, uh, obesity or any kind of um weight gain or any kind of, I would say, uneasiness due to that weight, like I said, is not normal and natural by design.
Yeah.
By design, we are supposed to be optimally performing, right?
Right.
So when we look at obesity, we don't have to look at just the calories and just the weighing scale.
Correct.
Much more to that.
Right.
And therefore, it will need a 360-degree evaluation of your, when I say vital stats, doesn't mean 36, 24, 36. I'm talking about body mind aspects as to what is making it hold something in you. The body holds something for security because it feels it
Correct.
will not give tomorrow. The
Right.
mind also, when are we very easy to give something? Do we take out gold from our lockers and give away like that? No. We give away only clothes that we don't wear, which makes us safe, right? So when we
Yeah.
are holding something in the body or mind, we have
Hmm.
to go deeper into what are we holding, how are we holding, and what are the alternative ways to holding while keeping us safe and well. Because
So
the
I just saw on the charts as well. Like I think my BMI is supposed to be 26. I'm on 35. So I know that there's something which is holding on to the inflammation. Some people are saying it's inflammation. Some people are saying is it like excess of fat? I don't know what is it. Is it
yeah,
inflammation and fat the same thing?
is again no, they're very
No.
different.
Yeah.
Inflammation is immune system response, and fat also body stores very intelligent for a specific purpose. So
Mm.
that's what I'm saying. This some people, I don't know if you're referring to an expert or people around you. If an expert has told you, ask them these questions. If this is the case, then why is that the case? Like, go deeper into that question. Otherwise, you will need a proper coach to take you through this journey. There is a lot of deep diving required. It will be unfair for me, for you, and for the entire universal design of health for me to advise you like this on a call.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, it's not a one answer thing, but I'm just kind of wondering whether I'm on the right path, or
Uh,
what is
yeah, that
holding
also will
me. I
need
still don't know.
evaluated. You will need help, see, Sheila.
Yeah.
It will need to be evaluated as to what it is first.
Hmm.
You will need a lot of deep dive. Like I ask people, do they notice how their urine is? Do they notice how their bowel discharge is?
Hmm.
How effortless is the bowel discharge? How many times they burp, hiccup,
Yeah, I
and
remember going through
other.
that.
So I focus on raw data because the natural model has given us the capacity to focus on raw data. What is raw data? All these primary system uh, uh, faculties, like
Parameters.
hunger, thirst, sleep, fatigue, pain, burp, hiccup, flatulence, nature of motions, nature of urine. Then on the emotional side, you have your emotion, feeling, many other things, how you're feeling, certain sensations in the body. So when we learn to go deeper into analyzing, understanding the raw data, from there we reach a root cause, and from there we flip the
Kind
tape.
of, yeah, the path is much more
That's
clear.
the point of control. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Is there any other question there?
Yes, we are open for two more questions. Anybody has a question about this?
Uh, And Sheila, just one more thing.
Yeah.
Intermittent fasting, etc., also shouldn't be done randomly. Any technique randomly done without understanding what it's doing to you is not such a great thing to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Know deep in your bones that this is your path. Only then take up something. I've
Okay.
experimented with myself enough to know this, and therefore, I'm telling you with conviction that find a good mentor, it'll make your journey easier. Yeah. And I'll
All
tell
right.
you my programs a little.
Sure.
Some more. Kapitra had okay, Kapitra system. There are no questions, right, Manvi? Is there
Yes.
anybody who wants to maybe raise their hand and ask a question?
Yeah, you can just unmute yourself and ask a question, or if you have any comment over today's discussion.
Yeah, exactly. We all need validation, you see. That's how our brains are designed. I'm no exception.
I just want to see where people are at
Accepted. Bless
this
you.
moment, because
Yeah.
what we have opened up is a treasure trove of information and knowledge, and how much of it is um, understood, applied, and it's going to take some time, because we're so, like you said, we are so trained to just follow one path. All of us, even if we have
Yeah.
different human designs, we are trained to just follow only one thing. So yeah, I want to see like where people are at, if they want to share something.
Yeah. Does anyone have anything to
You don't
share
have
at all?
to. You don't have to put your cameras on. You can just put the unmute yourselves and talk about it. No problem with that. I have
But
to
does it
say this.
also hold true for people who have been diagnosed with cancer? Does it
Of
come under
course.
chronic?
Cancer, in some cases, based on the stage of the disease, they call it clinically, they call it terminal. There are cases, though, where people have had a mighty turnaround.
Might be, is it?
See, it is always possible to work on the parameters that are the input parameters that are in our control and reactivate the body's self-healing mechanism.
Okay.
Some people even have had like they've gone cancer free by a few rounds of chemo or radio, and then they have had terrible symptoms. They're not the same person anymore. It's very, very tough. Clinically speaking, they're cancer free, but they're struggling it out. And therefore, it is always important to nourish the body and mind with what it is designed for. We need to put the fuel that we are designed for. That's the primary problem. And that is why food, breath, thought, movement are very critical for refueling ourselves. We are putting the wrong fuel day in and day out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one
Good.
question.
Sure.
One is that does it increase our lifespan by any chance if we do this?
I don't know, but there are these, I really don't recollect the names, but there is this community in Japan that is known to live 100 plus. They follow certain principles throughout their lives, just as a part of their social ecosystem. And there's also these people in the blue zone and stuff. It wouldn't be very appropriate for me to say without full details,
That's
but
okay.
there
So have
must
they
be.
they followed these principles of connecting with your body this way?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
At the same time, uh, through my exploration and study of spiritual sciences as well, uh, death is not something we are in control of, but conscious death is something we are in control of. Okay. For example, in birth, one can plan a baby, which means uh, man and a woman make love, but we cannot exactly regulate when the sperm and the ovum come together. We can't regulate how the zygote is, how the baby is, what life they'll carry, what thoughts they'll carry, how they'll behave, and things like that, right? Where say we can't really have an end timeline to the death, at least most mortal beings. There may be very advanced spiritual masters who can regulate even that. They can leave their body when they want to.
Hmm.
I mean, there are stories of that too. But 99.9999% people are not in that category. But there are ways of conscious death. That needs practice though. That's a very tall,
Samadhi, right? You're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about samadhi. Yeah, taking samadhi.
Not
Yeah.
just samadhi, also being more aware when you are passing. You
Hmm.
may not know when it comes, but you can be aware. You practice awareness so much that you're aware every moment
Wow.
of your
That's
living
a
existence.
lovely. I think
Yeah,
this is
and
the
therefore,
highlight of the
yeah,
session today.
and
Practice
that
awareness so much
actually
that
makes
you're aware every moment.
even more, I would say, energized about this path because, like, I lost many of my loved ones quite like suddenly, and what I learned is if we don't know how much time we have, what makes us think that we will do this work tomorrow? Who has seen tomorrow?
That's
All
true.
the more we need to make use of the time that we have, right? And make it vital, make it effortless, make it interesting, make it alive in every possible. That's
One
why
last
you are
question.
the work you do, right? Like if someone takes you away from Mitti, you will be the same Manvi with the same uh, intelligence, same capacities, but you will not be as alive as you are, right? So that's
That's
the
true.
very reason.
Yeah, so awareness, step one, and that's the reason we are
Yeah.
having these talks. So thank you,
In
Ritu,
fact,
for
yeah. In fact, that brings me. Can I explain? Some people are asking my 21-day audio program. So it's an audio-based program. I call it the curriculum to life and health, where from the first step as to how the body's self-healing mechanism can be active. It's always activated, but how do we come in touch with it and support it so that we heal? And what are the instruments that we have control over? What does holistic health even look like? What are the aspects we have control over? How to regulate those? And it has a lot of science. Most people told me it's too much science to handle, in the sense that it has a lot of science to say that this is not woo-woo stuff. This is, I quite dislike it when people say this alternative stuff doesn't work for everyone. This is not alternative. This is human physiology, human anatomy, human brain, human body and mind. Exact. Nobody can change the model, right? Whether it's an alternative practitioner or a doctor or anybody. So we have to work with the principles that we already know. We know the cell works in a certain way, it oxidizes in a certain way, it metabolizes in a certain way. So all of that science is explained so that all these factual questions that we keep battling, oh, but why? But why? But my mother said not to eat bananas at night, but that doctor said don't eat this, that. So all of these questions are put to rest, and it deals with all steps from birth to death.
okay. So in this 21-day workshop, it's just the audios that you'll be sharing
Yes,
over the
it's
days.
a once people sign up, I give access to 21 audios, which are anywhere between 30 to 50 minutes. And it has a lot of theory and a few practical things to implement, aspects to implement. If you do those practices, some of them may challenge you, make you feel uncomfortable, but that's what I said. Growth only happens at the border of support and challenge. So if you start doing those things and integrate them slowly into your life, you're bound to see a change.
Hmm.
That's the simplest way. And then for those who have deeper issues, like they're really suffering and do not have the mental strength to pursue this journey alone, or even physical strength, for them, I have a 12-week and a 21-week program, a one-on-one consultation where it's a bespoke, where I do the work with them.
Okay, that's nice. I think it takes 21 days for a habit to first form, right? Am I right? Is it 21
Yeah,
days?
that's the minimum. That's the
Yes,
minimum.
that's the
I would
minimum.
say it's not even habit, beginning of habit formation. This is just about reorientation. Oh, this is also
Ah,
available in this world. It's like looking at a supermarket and said, oh, this is also come. It's not
right.
even yet believing. It's just about knowing, oh, this also exists. Does this interest me? Does this make me curious?
Okay, wow. I think there was a lot of awareness, and I think I'm going to start with a small body awareness meditation. Would
Sure.
anybody want to
Lovely.
join in? Would you want to take it, Ritu? right now?
Yeah, yeah, please
Or
lead.
should I take
I
it?
love to. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
So we'll
I mean,
end
I've
the session.
experienced your meditation. It's always a good way to end the session.
Thank
And
you. I think
I
what you
would
said is
like everyone to maybe leave in silence, because I have used my vocal faculty, you have used your auditory faculty a lot, and the processing happens when we are silent. Maybe stay in a dark place, switch off the lights for 2 minutes, and experience the meditation that Manvi will be taking us through, and then maybe uh, slowly leave without uh,
sure, sure.
overstaying.
I think Anupama just raised her hand up.
Yes.
Do you have a question, Anupama? You can just unmute yourself and ask the question. You don't need to put your camera on if you're not comfortable. Anupama, I think you put your hand up. I think it was by mistake then. If it is
Okay.
so, please put a message in the chat and we'll attend it.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. I've logged in from my phone and I could not see the option to unmute. Can you hear
All
me
right.
now?
Yes.
Yes, very much.
Yeah, so thank you for this session, Rituparna and Conscious Minds Manvi. I wanted to know that this one-on-one consultation is definitely something I can explore. But if we could just do a short recap where Rituparna could just tell us the top 3 points that we need to keep in mind on a day-to-day basis. Because this was very interesting to know that even diseases like a thyroid disorder or diabetes, and the body is capable of fixing these if we provided the right environment. Because this is never really heard of. Yeah, everybody's put on medicines immediately. So I just wanted to understand what are the 3 things as a preventive measure that can be done, because it's actually getting very scary. Suddenly, the rise of diseases is just it's unbelievable. Like people you are
Yes.
eating, drinking with the it's yeah. So what can we do?
So, like I mentioned, first, there are 3 questions I mentioned about what kind we should. There's a bit of self-reflection required. Then there's a food aspect I mentioned, and then the other aspects like breath, sunlight, movement, etc. So the 3 questions, or 3 to 4 questions, I think I mentioned, about really reflecting what kind of life do I want? What do I want to do with my body, assuming everything was well today? And then getting in touch with your beliefs, your fears. It's a deeper process, but those are the 3 basic questions. I think this recording will also be up on YouTube, right, Manvi?
Yes, I was about to say that.
Yeah, because it's very hard to, like, I don't want to minimize the power of things.
Correct. Yeah.
So I already spoke a lot, but that's the way to go.
Answer Anupama.
And
Anupama,
then find a mentor who will help you do this, provided you know clearly what you want. What's your goal? Goal is to get rid of the disease, get rid of medicines, get rid of the pain, get rid of that stuck feeling inside. So that when we do a 12 or 24-week consultation, we take everyone through that process. And like I said, it's not comfortable, but it's absolutely worthwhile. The version of you or the version of the person they meet after the process is why we do this work, to live life full throttle.
live life full throttle. Yes. So we have 4 main pillars and everything written in the chat. Anupama, you can check that. And this entire video will be uploaded on YouTube. A few interesting questions will be cropped out into shorts also. You can find it on our Instagram. Am I audible properly to everybody? Because I'm having some battery issues. All right. So let's conclude the session.
Yes. Everyone, please participate in the meditation. Maybe can, then if you can't manage to switch off lights, then maybe just shut your eyes. Our eyes consume 83% of our energy. It's always nice to conserve energy for healing. That's also something always short of.
All right,
Right?
Ritu. So we have very little time, so I'll have to just
Yes.
conclude this. So first
Yes.
of all, thank you everybody. Before starting the meditation, thank you everybody for joining in Talking Solutions. This was Ritu talking about health, and next Saturday at the same time, 4 to 5 p.m., we have Binafsha coming, who's going to be talking about animals and how we can relate to animals and how their uh, participation is in our lives. And she works, she has a foundation of her own, which is Love Life Foundation. And that's going to be a different discussion. We are coming up with different initiators every week, every Saturday after, having your lunch and everything. Ekdam relax time to just put your Zoom on and just listen to these conversations, interact if you wish. And thank you for joining in Topic Solutions. Thank you, Ritu, for everything. We'll be taking the meditation now.
For this big conversation,
Thank
yes.
you for joining. It was very
And
important.
I hope it helped everyone to some extent to see that
Definitely.
different disease-free, medicine-free life is even possible.
Yes. Thank you. And we will do a short meditation for body awareness inspired by
Yes.
Ritu's teachings today. All right, everybody, just close your eyes. Close your eyes and sit comfortably wherever you are. Relax your body. We'll start with the awareness from our feet. Slowly take a deep breath in through your nose. Feel the inner state. Breathe out through your mouth. Again, breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Be aware of your inner state. Dissolve everything around you. Detach. Dissolve everything around you. Nothing exists but you right now. You and your body. Let's first get our awareness to our feet. How do they feel today? Up to your ankles. Then your calves, your knees, your thighs, your waist, up to your torso. Ask your body, how does it feel right now? Just be aware. Come up to your chest, your throat. Relax your jaws, your face muscles. Say thank you to your body. Thank you. Thank you for being there with me. Now be aware of your head. Now let's make a decision to regulate our four main pillars, which is food, good intake, like Ritu said. Be aware of your breath, your thought, and be aware of the movements that you have. These four pillars take care of you throughout your life. Let's make a decision today to eat wisely, mindfully. Let's take a decision to breathe mindfully. Deep breaths whenever you can, slow breaths. Let's make a decision to think positive and think with total freedom of thought. Let's think positive thoughts. Let your body move like a child would. Give yourself that freedom. Explore movements like Ritu said. Move differently when you're walking across the room. Try something. Try something that your body feels free to do. Let's holistically be friends with our body. That's the essence I got from the class, and I hope all of you did too. Let's be friends with our body today. Thank you everybody for joining in. You can continue to be in this state. We would be, however, stopping the session today. Don't forget to give yourself positive affirmations, because thought follows your health. Sorry, health follows your thought. I'm so sorry about that. So make sure you have happy thoughts, healthy thoughts. Release criticism and add affirmations. I am loved. I am present. I am enough. And say a big I love you to my body. I love you, my body. I love myself. Thank you. At the same time, say thank you to Mother Earth for nourishing you with so many options of food, so many places with lovely breath. You can have a fresh air whenever you wish to just go to a tree. Say thank you to Mother Earth for blessing us with all this goodness. Hope you stay aware and hope you always act upon your awareness. Give yourself that assurance that you will. Forgive yourself when you did not. Say it's okay, it's fine. Your present is in your hands, so let's do that. If I love myself, just say it out loud wherever you are. Thank you, body. I'm aware of you. I want to listen to you. And I will be with you holistically. Feel the love within you. Give a big smile to yourself. Hug yourself if needed. With this big smile, open your eyes. Thank you everyone for joining in for Talking
It was a
Solutions
beautiful
1.0.
closure, man.
Thank you, Ritu.
There are some comments. I just
Oh, I
seeing
did not
checking
see that.
questions. I hope there are no questions.
Thank you, Ritu and Manvi. Oh, I'm used to that. Okay. Thank you. Everybody's saying thank you. Thank you to everybody who said thank you.
Thank you for showing up. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for showing up and join in next week. We'll be having such conversations every week. Okay, bye everybody. See you next week.
See you, Manvi. Thank you
Bye
so much.
bye.
Bye.